to me. So good, so good to me. So good, so good to me. Jesus.
Well, Thanksgiving is coming up, and I trust that God has been good to you. And if you're still listening to the sound of my voice, if you're under the auspices of breath and warmth in your bloods, then you have still something to be thankful for. And it's hard to be thankful in an ungrateful environment. We have an ungrateful situation going down in our culture where we want this and that. We are in so much want mode. I don't know what that's all about. But I mean, it's good to want, but sometimes most times for our culture, it just gets out of hand. And so we want to admonish you and encourage you. And we're going to be broadcasting on Thanksgiving Day, a special broadcast right here on SIBN Radio. Stay tuned for details regarding that, because we have 6 shows on SIBN Radio Network. And you have the CATL show. I don't want to name them all, but just to name a few. You have the Sportscast Radio with Clara Salette, and also you have the SIBN Television and Radio News, and the Political Rant and other shows. So you want to stay tuned and keep it locked, because we got things coming up. But on Thanksgiving Day, we're looking to air, to encourage you, and we're working on some things. Now listen, if you would like to be a part of the donation, if you want to be a donor, you want to help this effort, by all means, let us know right here on the page. Say, hey, I want to help. And for as little as $5, whatever it is that you want to do, but it's for a minimum of $5 contribution, it helps pay the cost for the radio networks, by all means. And we're not shy about that, because if you Google Select USA TV and see the genre of things that we have done, we have tried to keep it real and balanced. And I've been tempted, you know what I'm saying, to do hardcore radio and nasty television and some other things. I'm a human being like everybody else. I got to eat, you know what I'm saying, but I just refuse to sell my soul just to make a buck. So I need your help, as those of you that may be considering partnering with us, so that we can continue the effort that we are putting out, which is minute. It's not a great multi-million-dollar vision or anything like that, but by all means, it does help us get the word out musically and I want to say editorially, but for the motivation and inspirational stuff that we disseminate on a regular basis, this platform suits us just fine. Also, you can go to SIBN on YouTube and subscribe to us there and see some fabulous shows that we've done. And we're going to be bringing some of those shows to the radio formats in the very near future. So I have no qualms. It takes money to do whatever you're going to do in life. We just hope that whatever you're doing is for everybody. It's not for one person at the top and supposedly to trickle down, even though that is also a principle, believe it or not, that is workable in all aspects of life. The dog looks to the dog owner. If the dog owner is out of order, the dog will be out of order. I can go on and on. Under the hood of the most dynamic car that you drive is an engine. You take the engine out, the dynamic looks, the dynamic interior is meaningless. So this thing about making sure that you do something from top down is a principle, but we have to also be able to recognize when that principle is being abused. If you're stuck in a pattern today, if you're stuck in a pattern where things are not growing and going, then you have to think about this principle. And the principle, it could be summed up like this: give and it shall be given. A closed hand cannot receive anything, and no one can say they can afford to give. It's always a sacrifice to give. It's always a sacrifice to give. It's always a sacrifice to give. And for some people, they sacrifice their last to ensure they have more than their past. I felt that one right there. And so we're not shy about saying, hey, if you want to be a part of what we're doing, by all means, let us know right here on Spreaker. If I'm not shy about saying it, you ought not to be shy about responding to it. I felt that right there, because this is a family effort. And as we do things of this nature, we see growth in our own personal lives, and we see growth even in our professional lives. And by all means, we're looking for some spoken word artists. So if you heard the commercial, if you're a spoken word artist, by all means, let us know so that we can begin to rotate you along with our music. We're looking for some fabulous spoken word artists, wholesome and positive only, please. And so we're putting that word out there through the commercial, and I'm letting you know right now. So, I mean, what else has been going on? Don't forget now, we're still talking about and thinking about our campaign for More for Life. Not more stuff. Not more stuff. Perhaps more progress, more synergy, more balance, more wholesomeness. I'm guilty. People think because you're a life coach that you don't have no issues. I'm a Christian with issues. You see what I'm saying? Got a whole bag of them. In fact, coming up next, this next artist that I'm going to play, just to give you a little rundown on my background in rock, Keith Green and Larry Norman were two of the artists, along with Amy Grant and others. They were some of the artists that saved me, in a sense, in my teenage years as a Christian. I gave my life to Christ in 1976. October 1976, and when I was listening to Christian radio under the auspices of my parents, I had a hunger for something more. It wasn't, Christian radio was very conservative at that time in the 60s and 70s, and so as a result, I was searching, and there's some other parts to the testimony that I won't give today, but the point of the matter is this: that Keith Green, Larry Norman, Amy Grant, and others were part of my repertoire of stealing away to hear a sound that would keep me free enough to walk the life that I was walking. And so I am very grateful that coming up here in just a few seconds, Keith Green really literally I can almost say Keith Green, Larry Norman for sure, literally saved my life. I mean, the music of these artists back in those days, this is before I knew about gospel. The music of these artists, man, I mean, when I found out about these artists, I was elated. And so I want to play a little bit of that as we head toward home plate and let you know, listen, this is my background. This is what I had to deal with. And prayerfully, prayerfully you can understand perhaps a little bit more. I'm waiting on that DJ. A little bit more of where I came from. Keith Green, Grace by Which I Stand.
special way. I when it was brand new. But like Peter, I can't even watch and pray. 1 hour with you, and I bet I could deny you too. But nothing lasts except the grace of God, by which I stand. In Jesus, I'm sure that
When I was a teenager, I was going through a lot. I was suicidal. Most people that know me know that I struggle with depression, and so I had I didn't have a handle on things as a teen, and so I would listen to these songs to shore up my confidence in God, and Keith Green, literally, Larry Norman, these guys saved my life as a teenager. My parents were extremely strict, and though I grew up on Christian radio, we were not allowed to change that station. It's very conservative, hymns of the church and Orthodox music. But I had a quest. I had a hunger, and I was introduced to Keith Green through a white friend of mine, and I was introduced to Amy Grant and others. But I found Larry Norman on my own. So, hopefully I'll be able to play 2 more before I close out. But listen, this is what saved me. This is what saved me. I just can remember. I can remember that if I could listen to the lyrics of these artists, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. And I went through some excruciating pain as a teen, trying to find my way through the abuse at home and through the rejection of my peers and through the isolation in my own mind. But this kind of artist caressed and held me tight enough for me to understand and come to grips with the love of God. And that's the issue with a lot of us as Christians. We don't understand the love of God. And so I want to go right to Larry Norman real quick, just to give you a little taste. It's going to sound a little strange, you know what I'm saying? But this one I really, really love. Check this one out right here.
Sipping whiskey from a paper cup, you drown your sorrows till you can't stand up. And take a look at what you've done to yourself. Why don't you put the bottle back on the shelf? Yellow fingered from your cigarettes, your hands are shaking while your body sweats. Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answer.
And so you can see, with my classic rock background, and I'll tell you why as you get to know me more, but Larry Norman fits right in.
Valentine's Day, and you're still looking for the perfect play. You think rock and roll will set you free, honey? You'll be dead before you're 33. Shooting junk till you're half insane. A broken needle in your purple vein. Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answer. Work all night, sleep all day. You take your money, throw it all away. You say you're gonna be a superstar, but you never hung around enough to find out who you really are.
Now, the name of the album is Only Visiting the Planet. So imagine, I'm a teenager trying to find my way, and Larry Norman's album cover says, hey, I'm just visiting the planet. You know what I mean? Awesome, man. Awesome, man. It brings chills down my spine, man, to hear this guy again, man, because this is what saved me from getting out there in the streets and really messing up. Check it out.